Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. And today, this has been a very interesting week for me, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Thanks for stopping by, as usual. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. And today on the workbench is a part of the deals of the week. Yeah. So, part of my bad habit is going to Guitar Center, maybe returning some stuff, and then finding some stuff that turns out to be a better purchase. And that was the deal yesterday. I was at Guitar Center, San Bernardino, in fact, and I picked up this beauty. I was returning a made in Korea Squire, but when it turned out that it had pretty much a plywood body, so I wasn't really too happy about discovering that, so I took it back. So, as it sits right now, I've already done work to it. I didn't want to bore you guys with the whole, look what I'm doing bullshit. So, um, now when I first saw this hanging on the wall, I wasn't really sure exactly what it was. Um, but what I did was, when I saw the Floyd Rose on here, I was like, yeah, I'm digging that. No hardtail. Because I've always struggled with, I think I mentioned this before. I don't like Gibsons in general because of all the wood back in the cavity. I just can't get my hands up on the upper frets here. Just it's a lot of work, and credit to the guys who go for that, but for me, this is like no zone territory. I don't really want to go in this direction. And I have purchased many Epiphone style guitars and Epiphones, and I have even had a Gibson, several times over, and I just can't deal with them. So here I am again, and I got this one. This was on clearance. This was actually $500 off the retail price. And so, if you haven't figured out what this is yet, one of the reasons it caught my eye was just the way that it presented itself. Just the richness of the abalone in the headstock. I mean, this thing was like, I was like, damn, that looks nice. Like, it just looked nice. I go, what's that? What the hell is that? And the block inlays, and I felt the neck, and I was like, oh wow, there's a really thin neck, and there's no volute. That's a little bit of concern. Nice Grover tuners, but the neck had absolutely no fret spurs. In the store, the ebony fretboard was very parched, very parched. I have treated it since, and it has new strings on it now. But even the block inlays look really, really nice. Really, really nice, guys. Looking at the back, I was also taken by surprise. So I was like, wait a minute, what? Okay, I'm liking it even more. Wow. It's kind of a trip. I don't know what this is about right here. Maybe this is why it was discounted. I don't really know. But it seemed like they stopped right here at the joint. But I don't really care. I'm okay with that. I didn't buy the guitar for its aesthetics as much more as I did for its playability. So, that's kind of unique. I kind of like that. And yeah, it's a definitely mahogany body, with some sort of quilted maple AAA veneer. So yeah, this is the Alex Lifeson from Rush. One of his signature model guitars under the Epiphone series, and he actually does a video on this thing. So this is not the original whammy bar, but it does come with a hard case, and this was at clearance for $500 off. This same guitar listed right now in many guitar centers is still $12.99. So I was just asking the girls, like, well, what's the story here? What are we talking about? Is there something wrong with it? Because I looked it over. I go like, I don't know. I can't find anything wrong with it. She goes, we're just wanting to move it out. So this does have a coil tap, and it also has somewhere here, I don't know which one it is, it has a in and out of phase switch. So kind of interesting. So I think this is only one. These three have a circuit board in the electronics cavity, and this is just a regular CTS tone pot. Floyd Rose 1000. Now, since I have been playing this, I started off with a D sharp tuning, which is kind of my favorite tuning, and it wasn't really holding very well. So I brought it up to, A440 standard tuning, and it seems to be doing much better. And it plays really, really well. I mean, I'm going to give credit to the guitar and to just the appearance, the aesthetics of, the quality of how I saw it in the store. It just pops, the headstock, the really nice thin neck, the contoured back, very, very close to the Firefly Les Paul I have. Very close. Very, very close. Still, yeah, it has a lot of weight to it. But the playability is where I'm at with this. And, I'm going to say honestly, this isn't the best tremolo I've had. In comparison, like the Firefly, Floyd Rose, actually does a better job than this one. But this is a keeper for many, many reasons. It's a great guitar to have. $500 off. I couldn't resist not buying it. Comes with a nice Epiphone hard case. And it's got a nice interior, nice gray interior. She pulled it right out of the box, so it's got all the original packaging. And in here, you got your Allen keys and the original whammy bar and the lock. So definitely can appreciate that. And I like the fact that it didn't have that horrendous sort of pink interior. I was never a fan of the pink interior. I've seen other interiors like a ruby red, but the pink, no, I'm not really a big fan of the pink. But a really nice case. There's no bubbling on the case. It's a really nice. So for the money, $500 off, it was a no-brainer. And it plays really good. It's an interesting sound. So this has a some sort of Epiphone Pro Bucker 3. I don't know what the 3 means. Is that a Linkle 3? Not a super hot pickup. And then it's got a ceramic Pro Bucker in the neck. So, and it's got a really nice, it's got that famous sort of Gibson type tones, and I think in the neck position it's got a really nice tone there too. It's got a really nice scooped, very, very rich and deep. But the overall aesthetics of the guitar, the way that it pops, the white, the inlays against the ebony and the headstock, with the chrome, not chrome, the gold. I did tighten down the nuts. They were loose. Everything else seems to be very functional. I did have to adjust the truss rod. It did have a back bow, and it does play much better. It doesn't have the craziest quilted AAA veneer, and I think that's a variance, because even in the YouTube video, the one that Alex is doing, it's very similar, if not identical. And so that's another thing. It's very similar, to the ones Firefly put out. This type of grain, it moves, but it's very subtle. So they made it so, I guess, I don't know, so that it didn't overshadow the aesthetics of everything else. So they picked this color, but as nice as this could have looked in a different color, they chose this. So a lot of it's kind of hidden from a distance, it just looks like a red and gold with black ebony, but it's not, So I'll put a link to that in the description, and we'll talk about that. So the workbench has been pretty busy lately, doing that and doing setups. The Nux has been doing. I really like this on the workbench. It's good to have when I'm doing soldering for pickups and testing to make sure I didn't goof it all up. This comes in handy, and it's Bluetooth. It's definitely not the greatest amp. I don't know who would ever buy that. I don't know. For me, it's a good little amp to have on the workbench, but as far as like really playing it like a guitar amp, there's just no way. They packed a lot of stuff in that thing, but it's really overkill. I don't really know what becomes of something like that. But for the money, for its purposes, for me, on the workbench, simple stuff. Just to play the guitar after you solder it, after you tune it up, just, boom, and then you're there. Because before I used to have to walk all the way to the bedroom. Okay, deal number 2 of the week. Yeah, so I took back that blue tally. I tried to work with it, guys. The back of the neck being raw wood, as I mentioned, it wasn't working for me. So, yeah. So what ended up happening is, as I took it back, I saw this Telecaster hanging on the wall of shame. And it kind of struck me like, when you're at Guitar Center, there's so many guitars. It's hard for even a guitar like this to get overlooked, actually. But I just happened to look at it. Now, I've already done the work to it. It just has a sort of a swimming pool route in here, which is nice. It's got real CTS pots. It's got a real 5-way selector. So this is a Nashville Deluxe. It's got a solid alder body and a maple neck. I looked up the serial number, and it's completely original, 100% legit. So no question there. It's got classic tuners. When I first saw it, I was like, did they really put the headstock like that? Like the decal? I guess so. Whatever. So made in Mexico. Yeah. So this is actually a 2006, So it's got some years on it, and I love that, man. I love buying older stuff. Yeah. So, what do we do the math? So, 2006, and we are now 2025. So, yeah, it's got some good years on her. For it to have been broken in, the neck is absolutely phenomenal. It really is. It's got a one-piece maple neck. I'm pretty sure, and every time I say that, I double look. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, it's one piece. Oh my God, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Okay, I guess my allergies are kind of acting up. Hey, we're back. So, talking about, 19 years old, and this guitar just kind of, took me by surprise. And, again, I'm not big on tellies, but this was like, when did this happen? When did this whole Stratocaster and a telly get together, do their business, and then gave birth to this thing? So when I was like, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what? Huh? No coil tap, just a simple tone knob and volume, but I took it already apart. Now what happened was, I was making some other adjustments here. Let me try to get that light out of here. And unfortunately, but fortunately, some of these screws are stripped. Yeah, so the Allen screws and the saddles, some of them are stripped out. And that happens, when someone starts jacking around with shit with the wrong tool. And my first thought was, well, that's kind of cool. I like that, but maybe we should try something else. What's the remedy? Right here. Let's go brass. Brand new screws and It'll be easy. I won't have to even take the strings completely off. Just loosen them, loosen the saddles. This whole thing will just pop right out. We'll put the brass one in, set the height adjustment. We'll do one string at a time, and she'll be ready to rock and roll. So I think this is going to work out just fine. They're the same type, and you know, so, and I would prefer to see brass on there anyway. And that's all I really need with that. So this was not very expensive at all. But so to finish off this conversation about the telly, yeah. So on the back of the tag, it had listed that there was a case for it, and so we rang it up, you know, about $500. And then I ended up talking to this guy, really cool guy. Oh, I might talk about him in a bit. Just really cool guy, man. It's just like we're both old kind of guys, you know. So I don't know if you guys are older, you know, you go to Guitar Center. It seems like older guys kind of gravitate to each other, and we start talking shit about life and music. And so, yeah, there was this guy, we were bullshitting for, I don't know, man, it seemed like an hour. But, and I came back, and the fucking telly was, I was like, well, where's the case? You know, the one girl here, I got this out of Moreno Valley. The one girl, sales lady, Moreno Valley, who I think was the sales manager, was trying to jip me out of it. She's like, oh no, there's not a, it doesn't come with a case. I go, yeah, it does. I saw it on the tag. She goes, no. She goes, I looked at it and there wasn't anything there. And then right about that time, the guy who rang it up for me, he came over because we were having that conversation. He goes, no. He goes, there is a case. He goes, I even saw it. You know what she tried to do? She tried to throw it in the trash, the little sticker that indicated it had a case. So she was playing games, man. What's up, Moreno Valley? F you guys. So the guy goes, no, it has a case. There was a big old thing. He was looking in the trash for it. But you know what? She got rid of it. See, you got to watch some of these guys. They're fucking playing games. So he goes, yeah. He goes, but I need the key. So she gave him the key. He went back. 10 minutes later, he comes back with this. What is this? This is a TSA approved Gator hard case. Brand new, man. Brand spanking new. With the keys and even some of the stickers in here. TSA approved. Okay, this is a $200 case with the guitar. That's a great deal. Not that I'm going to be traveling anywhere soon, like to the Philippines or whatever, but to get a $200 TSA approved case with an already amazing guitar that's been, you know, has a really good price, that's 19 years old, solid not mahogany, solid alder with some Tex-Mex pick. This thing sounds awesome. I'm gonna do a sound video on that, but all by itself because I think I don't want to push the limit here, or maybe this is all gonna be it for now. I think I'll just do another video of me after I'm done setting that up. I'll do a video of me playing this guitar and that guitar after I put the saddles on. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, but let's just take a quick look at let's go to the studio. You know, what's up with the studio, Todd? Right? So follow me, guys. Okay, so trip on this. All right, well, look, here's Alex right here talking about, I'm going to just kill the audio, talking about the guitar. So he goes into this whole spiel about it. There's a left-handed one in there. And so I feel, you know, very proud to actually be owning this guitar. I mean, especially with the discount and everything. I think like, wow, okay, so I'm a part of this whole Epiphone Alex Lifeson family now, you know. And it's exactly how he described it, and I'll put a link to this video. It's just pretty cool just to hear him talking about the guitar. I think this is how most people would feel if they owned a signature guitar. Like, you know, you become a part of this sort of family. But this fucking guy's, you know, he's a legend. So And you see, again, it's very subtle, the green in here. It's not even the phone can capture it. It's very, very subtle, the quilted maple top. And they didn't really go crazy. This one, I think, just had some lighting on it, but, really, really nice stuff. Another video I'm going to put in the link was the new PRS. Philip McKnight did a video on this. And if you have not seen this guitar, man, it's an amazing guitar. PSR put out this guitar, and it's just, I forgot who the Asian guy is. It's a signature model guitar, but it's just, man, like, I've never seen anything like it,
Thin.
But just everything about that guitar really speaks of how PSR is really, like, PRS is really stepping up their game. I mean, it's an amazing instrument, and it would also be interested. I'll put a link if you haven't seen it there. What's this Asian guy's name who does it? I think somebody left a comment. I even watched a little bit of him talking about it. You guys already know, but again, I'm pulling. Hold on, let me see real quick. Hold on. Yeah, so it's the Clio model, but this thing is by far one of the sickest guitars I have ever seen. Like, it sounds amazing. It looks amazing. The fucking dragons in the fretboard. I mean, this is by far, and people are gonna buy. There's only gonna be 200 made, and for a fact, people are gonna buy this. Like, if I had the money to blow, I would buy this just as a collector's edition. I mean, that guitar is so badass, but it's $7,000. Yeah, big bucks, man, big bucks. But I think you get the best of everything with something like that, and there's just no way a Gibson could ever compete with that kind of guitar. But it's way at the top, man, and this thing is just sick as a dog. Firefly came out with a purple FFMN, which is kind of got my attention. Like, hey, wait a minute, what's up? Like, what's up? Like, what's up? I don't know, man. I'm just kind of like, what? Do I? I told you, man, I'm a sucker for purple. Purple's my thing. I like it. It's just, it has a nice contrast. I think purple has a nice contrast with the roasted maple. It just does. I even, Music Man Guitars, the Luke, they have a new purple one too. It looks sick as a dog, and it's purple. But the one I got was defective. Yeah, $800, piece of shit. There you go, $800, and I had to return it because it just was not up to par. It was a Sterling. Okay, I give it that. It's a Sterling, but the post underneath the bridge popped right out. Like, it was already coming out through a string change. That's not good, and they were trying to resell it. I was like, no, get that thing. But and I think they raised their prices a little, like $249. Yeah, I think this was originally, like the other ones, $219. So they're charging a little bit more, but these are coming from California. So if you guys live in California, they're going to get there in a few days. Most other guitars are coming from out of California, so they do take a while, depending on where they're being shipped from. But yeah, so this is interesting. I'm highly considering this purple one. Even though I have another one, this, just by the color and the nature, I'm just kind of, So yeah. And then, so Firefly put out a new purple Les Paul style, but it's not the same as the one that I have. They have a new one, and I wouldn't say it's better, because this whole thing with adding the new neck seems to be Like, I don't like that. I mean, the one I have is, to me, just better because it's got unity, uniform. But that is kind of like taken away um, from what it originally was. I wouldn't say that's an improvement. Just it's different, but you know, I don't know how I feel about that one. Yeah, okay, you have a roasted plain, but that joint right there, it's definitely not the same as the original one. So I don't know about that. Um, you know, because that's uniquely different. Let me get back to where that angle cut is, where he was just showing you that. Yeah. So that's that right there. Okay, so see this on mine is just it feels more uniform. Um, it just looks nicer. So, you know, he's calling that an upgrade, and I'm calling that a setback because I think this is way better. Um, and he's saying that the pickups are newer, but I'm saying newer from what? Like, how do you validate what's newer? I don't think they're newer, and I think just mine looks better anyway from what it is. But yeah, so that's the new version of that guitar, but I wasn't really digging on that. And that's all I got to share, guys. So definitely the guitar world is, going through some phases. Line 6 is coming out with a bunch of nonsense. Where's it all really taking us? I think for us older guys, it's just getting to be like effing ridiculous. Like, what's it going to be? Like, you're not going to have to do much anymore. This title on this particular um, is why is the PSR Herman Lee Choli the most important guitar? That's sort of like a ridiculous statement. It's a guitar that costs $7,000. Why is it the most important? It can't be the most important guitar. But what it is, it's giving way to something very unique. But again, there's a lot of innovative guitar designers out there that use similar materials. Basically, what you're getting is a very custom guitar for $7,000. So for $7,000, yeah, you better be getting something very, very unique. But there's a lot of unique guitars out there that probably cost less than that and have the same sort of playability. Maybe not so much the same look, but definitely can compete with that for less money. But is it the most important guitar? No, that's pretty stupid. I don't know about this dude, man. And also another one of my favorite YouTubers is J-Man. I like J-Man simply because he's a working musician. He's a school teacher, but this guy's a good player and he's got good insight. I think he's very underrated. Like, this guy's got some really good chicken picking, fingers, man. But he does an excellent job of describing and letting you hear a lot of, what he does. He does his own breakdown. He installs pickups just like me. But he's a fantastic player. And I think a lot of what he does is very valid because he's got a band, he plays, so he's really centered on tone and pickups. And if you are this type of player, I think it's critical to kind of follow his channel because he's really insightful, and I love watching a lot of what he does. But at only 5,000 subscribers, I would think this guy would be like 15, 20. I think his channel is just very underrated. But this guy is in a band and he plays really, really good. And so right here he's talking about these pickups, and you could definitely hear a big difference between what this crappy guitar sounded like before. But like me, he could take any crappy guitar and yeah, you can upgrade it and make it into something nice. Um, but his point is more valid in the sense that he plays in a band with some dudes, and so he's constantly really pushing the limits of taking imported cheap guitars and making them purposeful for him. So I think it's important. Yeah, So I'll leave a link to all of these things in this video of mine. And thanks for joining me, guys. As always, music is central to my life, and like a lot of these guys on YouTube, I just love sharing, the things that I have and have encountered, guitar things related at Guitar Center, and having my own collection of guitars to kind of cycle through and play. I haven't even done a video of the new Ibanez sitting over here, but this thing sounds awesome, man. It plays great. Got a definite better Floyd Rose than the Epiphone, but yeah, that's all I got to share, guys. And as always, thanks for hanging out. What else can I say? Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. Let's see if I can get another shot of these guitars. Yeah, so. Who knew? Who knew? Thanks for you guys for subscribing to this channel. It's just a homegrown sort of a thing, I'm inviting you into my home and just kind of sharing with you the things that I find entertaining, and maybe there's something to be gained, a discussion or two, talking about guitars. Deal of the week, right here. And Guitar Center trying to scam me out of that $200 case. What's up? What's up? But I'm very happy with this guitar. It just looks awesome. I mean, I just was like, it looks so much better now than when I first saw it. But I was like, man, that headstock is popping. Like, damn, what's up? Yeah, really, really nice, I think. And again, the neck. Definitely nothing... not like the fat normal necks you're used to. So yeah, I think Alex had a big part of designing this guitar, of course, but it's nice to have a Floyd Rose. I'm glad, because had it a regular trim, I don't think I would have gotten, because the hardtail thing and that and the other hardtail, I was like, nah, I like that. I like the Floyd Rose being on there better. And I think it plays better with the Floyd Rose. It's not as stiff. Even at A440, it's still not as stiff as it could be, especially if it had the hardtail trim. So I can appreciate this, because I think there's a little movement in here that gives flexibility to the playability, especially at A440. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for joining my channel. And have a blessed week. Take care.